happening. We were living in south of India, at the very tip of India. By the time I was born, my parents were already Christians. They had received Jesus. But the church that they were part of was a bit legalistic, religious church. My mother was very much into this religious thing that comes with Jesus. So she loved Jesus, but at the same time, the rules and the regulations, she just followed it thoroughly. But my father thought outside the box. So I was on my father's side, and we used to have arguments with my mother. We had disagreements. So my father, myself, I would say, but this is not written in the Bible. She said, no, you should not talk against the children of God. But even as a child, I also saw the miracles, the healings, how my mom sincerely prayed and she got answers for her prayer. When I finished school, I got scholarship in nursing. So I went to New Delhi. That is the capital of India, but it's on the northern tip. In those days, it was a 2 days journey from home to the nursing college, which means I was away from home. Away from home gave me the freedom to think, freedom to do whatever I wanted to do. But I didn't want to leave Jesus. I sort of knew that Jesus was true, and I liked his teachings. They were beyond. You could not put it in a box, and I realized he was a radical leader. That's how I saw him, and I really embraced him, and I loved him. But the religious background had also become a part of my life. So I went church hunting. I was alone by now. And then I found a very small church. In fact, and by this time, my friends, one friend became a Christian. She and I, we used to go together. And by this time, I think we were around 5 of us. I'm talking about late 90s. We knew that there was an evangelist coming to the church. It's a very small church. Her name was Teresa, and not a famous person. The meetings were planned for 3 days. I went for one meeting. It was just the usual evangelistic. My friend came home the next day, the meeting that I missed, and she was asking me questions. How can a lady preach? The usual questions, and which were, I had no answer to it. We had nothing to do. We thought we'll go for the 3rd day meeting. Unknown to us, I'm talking about days when there were no Googling, no internet, no YouTube. There was a revival happening in America, the Brownsville revival. I don't know if whatever happened during those meetings were part of what was happening in Brownsville. I do not know. But the evangelist could not stop the meetings. There were healings, there were deliverances, there were lots of singing. It was like partying. So, I'm young, and we were lots of young people, and the church also had some Bible students, and there was dancing and singing, and things were out of hand, and the meetings went on and on and on. She could not stop because people were coming. And by this time, I was not very much into the church. I don't know how this happened, but a group of people from America came to pray over the land. So all they planned was to go around in the cars and pray. Now they've joined Teresa. So there was lots of people who were ministering and lots of Holy Spirit thing, and as I said earlier, healings and miracles and deliverances, and all choruses we would sing. We would go in the front, we would sing and dance, and we would be in the church until 10-11 o'clock. When I go home, go back to the hostel, the girls will ask, is that okay? Is that right? I had no answer. All I knew was the God of the Bible that I used to read as a child has become real, and there is more to him than what I thought earlier it was. I had no answers, but I'll go home, go to the hostel late. The hostel lady, the cafeteria people will have a plate of food for me. I'll eat, and I'll get up in the morning to read the Bible. I was so hungry for God. I'm talking for myself, but it is me and my friends. And the healings, I think I can remember one healing where there was a Hindu girl who had her valves were not working properly, and an older friend of mine, a nurse, she spoke to her about Jesus, and she started coming to these meetings. And a few days later, she had an angiogram and they couldn't find. So such things, such spectacular miracles were happening. Many were set free of witchcraft and delivered. We have all heard about getting slain in the spirit, but in those meetings, it was not slain in the spirit. Someone would just pray for one, even if they just did a nominal prayer, people will fly for 2 meters. It was as if, and how I would behave if I had lightning on me or a shock, electric shock. The young people who were most recipient were not Christians. Christians came for many reasons: to watch, to observe, to see what's happening. But the people who were very much touched were not Christians. And the people who really flew further with a shock were not Christians. I don't know how else to put it. So the meetings went on, and I should say that was where I met Jesus. Everyone was surprised. The evangelist and the praying group that came from the United States, they were surprised. There was one day they said, we went to Agra. Now Agra is where Taj Mahal is, and it is a few kilometers away from where we were. And the man said, I've never seen so many miracles in my life. And I was surprised. I thought these people came because they were used to living in miracles. No one could take the glory. It has never happened in our lives. It has never happened in their lives. They've never seen anything like this. Teresa left, and these guys continued. And then after 3 or 4 months, I still remember the last day our girls, we were still going there, but no one, the church wasn't ready. It was too tiring. So the meeting continued for 3-4 months.
Yeah, so in summary, it's really an encountering of the loving God instead of the
It was.
Yeah.
It was. I saw the other side of God, and these things were happening. People were acting like they were in a party, boozing. I couldn't put it in words. So, but I went because it was exhilarating. It was joyful. But now I know that what happened there was happening when Brownsville revival was happening. And one of the missionary who was part of the church was actually from Pensacola. And he wasn't there. He missed it because he went to see the Pensacola revival. And when he came back to the midst of it. So he was charged to take over because he was into it. But then it waned away.